name is Sheeshao and my performance is called You, Me, and China, a look inside Chinese citizens' lives from 1900 to 2013. Granddaughter, could you please come in? I want to talk to you. Here, why don't you have a seat? So, I want to tell you some things, and I also want to give you some things too. Well, before I was born, when my sisters were very young, they both had their feet bound. They said it was not very fun, you know. This is a picture of my oldest sister's feet after they got bound. They had to bound their feet because, well, men thought this was attractive, and to get a good husband, you had to have your feet bound. Well, because I was the last child, and because my father said that times were changing, he didn't make me get my feet bound. But when I turned 12, he did say that I was engaged. I never wanted to get engaged. I mean, I never wanted to get married because, well, I just didn't. But I had no right to protest. The 3 obediences a woman must follow is 1 to her father, 1 to her husband, and when her husband dies, 1 to her son. So, I was married 1 year later when I was 13. Man, I still remember it so clearly. My dress was so beautiful. It was red to symbolize luck, and it was silk. Here's a piece of fabric left over from my dress. Well, the same year that I got engaged, the last emperor was overthrown. This was a huge deal. I mean, he was the last emperor. And before then, to show the loyalty to the emperor, men had to wear a long braid. Well, after the emperor was overthrown, they had to cut off their braid to show that they were loyal to the new government. Men's responsibilities were to his country and then to his family. While women's responsibilities, they were to the men in her family. And, oh, it looks like your mom's here. I'd like to tell you more if you'd come by again. Wait, what? Your teacher said that many people starved because of bad weather? Okay, that's not true. Let me tell you. The villages, they were told to melt down all the metal so that China could catch up with England and America. Well, so many of us were working on melting metal that not enough people were working in making food in the fields. And to add to that, we had to give a grain quota to the government. And our village leader, well, he exaggerated on how much grain we could produce, so the government ended up taking too much. Man, it was terrible. Half my family died, and about 40 million people died too. It was really bad. The rest of us, well, we were eating rats and tree bark and dirt, pretty much anything. Well, the government made some pretty big mistakes. Yeah, it's obvious. But the government also did do good things. Like when Chairman Mao became leader, man, we were so happy because the first thing he did was give people the right to marry who they wanted. This was a really big deal. Before then, women and men, their parents chose who they married. And I was very excited because, well, I'd fallen in love. And soon after the law was passed, I married him. My parents didn't approve, though. But that's just, and, oh, I'm sorry, my stew's spinning. I'll see you later. Hi, my name is Bai Bao. I was born in 1952. I was asked here to give a speech. My English is not that good, so I'm gonna read part way from this. I have lived through many changes. When I was in elementary school, all the students in my school wore a red scarf to symbolize that they were part of the revolution. Here's what the scarf would look like, and it would go around like this, just like that. Well, a common saying was, heaven and earth are great, but greater still is the kindness of the Communist Party. Father and mother are dear, but dearer still is Chairman Mao. And in 1966, the Cultural Revolution began. I was very excited to be part of it. I mean, we had missed the last war, and we were eager to get on this one and become heroes. The four olds were old religion, old habit, old culture, and old ideas. When I was 14, I became a Red Guard, and it was our job to literally go out and destroy the four olds. Signs like Great Prosperity Market and Good Fortune Photo Studios, those were the four olds, and so we destroyed them. Another one of the four olds was wearing too tight pants. It was an old fashion. To ensure that you were wearing the correct pants, the Red Guards would put a beer bottle up your pant leg to see if it would fit, and if it didn't, then you were wearing a four old, and the Red Guards got to cut your pants. Well, at the time, I felt powerful. I felt like I was helping China become a greater country. But now, I kind of feel like I did some bad things. Well, now I live in a town close to Tangxi, which is a small farming village. During the Cultural Revolution, I was sent there to be re-educated. And, that's about it. That's my story. Thank you. Dear daughter, I will give you this letter when you are a mother yourself. I need to tell you about something that I should have told you earlier. Let's start at the beginning. I was born in 1978 and grew up in a small farming village. I didn't go to college, but I hope you will. I got married when I was 20. After my marriage, I had my first child 1 year later, and that child is you. What you don't know is we had another child too. She was born on January 26, 2000. If the government found out that we had another child, they could take our job, our house, everything away from us. But despite that, we kept our second child for about 5 weeks, but the risk became too great. We had to leave her at the doorstep of a school in Tangxi when she was very young. All I have is a picture of where I left your sister, and I want you to have it. I know my rights aren't important compared to my responsibilities, but the students in Tiananmen Square, they thought otherwise. Just like many countries, China has its bad times too. One such time was the Tiananmen Square protest. Well, what happened was a lot of students went to Tiananmen Square because they wanted a say in the job that they would get for life. The students were thinking of the rights as individuals instead of the rights of the whole country. Well, pretty soon the army got involved and lots of people died. It was terrible. The students shouldn't have pushed the luck by protesting. And I have to go soon, but I just want you to know that if you have 2 children, don't do what we did. You will really regret it. Try to find another way. Love, Baha'i. Just a second, teacher. I'm almost ready to get my report. One sec. One sec. Okay. Sit. Okay. Many things have happened throughout China's history. Some of these changes were good, and some were bad. The Chinese, unlike Americans, think of themselves as having rights of the whole country. They don't think of the individual rights. No. Most Chinese think that freedom of religion and freedom of speech, well, they aren't that important compared to the responsibility to the country. One such thing that affected many people in many people's lives, including my life, was the one-child policy. It stated that every couple could only have one child, with a few exceptions. But in China, you want to have a boy because when you grow up and get older and get too old to support yourself, you have to move in with your son and his family. Well, many children are left abandoned either because they're a girl or because they're a second child and the parents wanted a boy. Well, many Chinese think that the one-child policy, they don't really like it, but they know it's there for a good reason because it's their responsibility to follow the policy dutifully and to help make China less overpopulated. Well, I was born January 26, 2000. My parents kept me for about 5 weeks before they left me on the doorstep of a school in Tingxi, which is a small farming village. They didn't take me to an orphanage because if they did that, the government would find out that they had a second child and the government could take anything and everything away from my parents. I stayed in the orphanage for about 1 year. The orphanage gave me a little outfit. Here. Well, when my adopted parents came to get me, they took a picture, of where I was found. My mom, my brother, school. It should be my right to know who my parents are, but maybe I think that way because I'm American. Any questions? Yeah, not you. Thank you.